Hey, it's Trisha. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be doing the Beauty and the Beast book tag. I was tagged by Kara from Wild Book Garden, and this is the extended one that was through the book blogging community. It was created by Patrice over at Dreamland Book Blog. I will link both Kara's video and Patrice's blog in the description box down below. So this is the one that I think is based off of the live action Beauty and the Beast movie that came out a while ago. So there are 9 questions in this tag, and we're gonna get right on into it. Number 1, oh what a guy, Gaston. Name a villain that you can't help but love. For this one, I think I may have done this answer in another tag video at some point in the past, but I'm gonna go with Barty Crouch Jr. from Harry Potter number 4. I try to not pick Harry Potter for book tags. However, I think that what Barty Crouch Jr. did in order to infiltrate Hogwarts and to get close to Harry was very cunning and very well thought out, and I think that as far as villains within the Harry Potter universe, he doesn't get as much credit as he is deserving of, so I'm gonna go with him. Number 2, here's where she meets Prince Charming. Your OTP. For this one, I am gonna go with Elizabeth and Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. I'm not gonna pull out my hunkin' book. I don't feel like doing that right now. I love Elizabeth and Darcy. They are like cream of the crop, hate to love trope. I love everything about them. I reread Pride and Prejudice every single year, and I watch the movies and adaptations quite often, so definitely my OTP there. Number 3, I want much more than this provincial life. A character who is destined for greater things. For this one, I'm gonna go with Albert from The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Albert is a character that the Count meets through his journeys to get revenge on the men that put him in prison wrongfully. He is a character, I'm not gonna tell you too much more about him because of spoilers, because he is not in the first, big portion of this book. However, he is a character that has to deal with a lot at the end of this book. He is a character that changes quite a bit and has to come to terms with some information that he finds out. And I feel like at the end of this book, he is a man who will go on to do great things, and that he has a really bright future ahead of him. Number 4, Be Our Guest. A book that made you hungry. I don't really have one for this. I honestly can't think of a book that made me hungry. Number 5, Beauty and the Beast. Opposites attract. For this one, I'm going to go with Penelope and Tom from All Our Wrong Todays by Ellen Mastai. For those of you who do not know, All Our Wrong Todays is about a world in 2014 where they have a world very similar to the Jetsons. They have flying cars and super clean renewable energy, and they've basically eliminated world hunger and all of this stuff, all thanks to a clean energy machine that was developed back in the 1950s. Tom is our main character, and his father is a triple PhD scientist that is inventing a time machine that will allow people to go back in time to just watch the starting up of this machine that is held in very high regards, which has allowed them to live in the society that they now have. Tom is just this regular, everyday kind of guy. Like, he kind of just coasts along. He's not living up to the expectations of his father, and he doesn't really know how anything in their society works. He doesn't know anything about anything really. He's just your average guy. Through a series of events, he ends up meeting Penelope. Penelope is this really outgoing, smart, driven woman. She wants to be the first person to go back and use the time machine that Tom's father is inventing. Through a series of events, they meet each other, and they are 2 completely different individuals. Their chemistry is so fascinating, and they were a dynamic that I didn't think I was gonna like, but they were so sweet together. I really enjoyed their story, and they are 2 opposites that I really think came together quite nicely. Number 6, but there's something in him that I simply didn't see. A character who is more than they appear. For this one, I'm going to go with Evie from the Diviners series by Libba Bray. Evie is one of those characters who was very polarizing for a lot of people in the first book. A lot of people felt that she was incredibly selfish, just a really unlikable character. However, I thought that she was really deep and there was a lot more to her than a lot of people chose to see. And as the series has progressed, you really see that there is a lot more to her, and she is not just this vapid airhead who wants fame and glory and to be in the spotlight all the time, but she is somebody who is insecure, who cares about her friends and family, and yes, makes mistakes, but realizes the mistakes that she's making and tries to make them right. And so I feel like she's one of those characters that people take at face value and don't try to dig in deeper with her when there really is so much more to her. Number 7, I was innocent and certain. Now I'm wiser, but unsure. A book that changed you in some way. For this one, I'm gonna go with Mastery by George Leonard. You may have heard me talk about it in a previous tag video, but this is a book that I read for an acting class in college. And this book talks about success and how to achieve success and how to become a master at something. And I feel like this has been a tool that I have used constantly. I highly recommend it. Number 8, Kill the Beast, a book you picked up because of the hype. For this one, I'm gonna go with a book that I picked up because of hype, but not necessarily from BookTube. I picked up Meddling Kids from hype around the bookstore that I was working at the time. We had heard about it from an article, I think, in the paper. There was a lot of buzz around this book. This book is pegged as a Scooby-Doo gang in their 20s, like after they've stopped doing their crime investigation. It was interesting. It was very dark and very strange. I didn't particularly care for it. Also, I didn't really like the writing style. You would be in the middle of a passage where the characters would be talking mid-conversation, and it would switch over from regular novel form to script format, and I don't know why. I couldn't figure out why it would change formatting right in the middle of a scene. So I didn't particularly care for that. I also did not care for this strange sexual assault that happened, may not have happened. I don't know if it was a dream or what happened, but it takes place between the two female main characters, one of whom happens to be an out lesbian, and I don't really understand what happened. However, it made me very uncomfortable. And so there's just like a lot of things about this book that I didn't like, that I didn't understand, and so I ended up really not liking this book. Number 9, I'll Never Shake Away the Pain, a book or a moment that always makes you cry. And for a book that will always make me cry, it is going to be Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. This is a book about a young man who is selected for an experimental medical procedure which is supposed to raise IQ. It had been tested on a mouse, Algernon, who became incredibly intelligent. And Charlie, who is this young man, actually has a very, very low IQ. And he has a childlike mentality where he's not capable of a lot of things. I don't think they ever name what he is actually suffering from. I will leave it at that and just know that it is a very, very sad ending. All right, so my battery is about to die. That is the end of the Beauty and the Beast book tag. I am not going to tag anybody in this because it has been going around for a while, so I'm not too sure who else has done it already. However, now is the perfect time, if you have not already done so, click that little subscribe button down below if you want to see more content from me in the future. And if you want to follow me elsewhere on the interwebs, I have all of my social media links in the description box down below. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!